Hey guys, welcome to the episode number 20. We are solving Apex trigger related problems and following the trigger best practices. The Apex triggers episode 20 is the final episode for this course. So let's go and see the problem. So for the episode 20, we're trying to solve the problem number 20, which is writing a trigger on contact to update the counts of contacts related to an accounts. This is basically what it means is in the account object, we need to have a field, which is number type, that counts the related contacts records for that account, particular accounts, and display that upon doing any operation in the contacts, like deleting, updating, inserting, or sometimes undeleting the records. So let's see things to remember. The trigger type is after, because this should happen right after performing the operation. Trigger context should be a lot of things. That means it's going to summarize all those things that we discussed in the previous scenarios, which are after insert, after delete, after undelete, or after update. This should happen in the contact object. So basically, we're writing a trigger on contact object to update the field record, on the account object, and that should be with the number that counts the total contacts related to that particular accounts. So without delaying, let's go to the developer console, start writing the trigger. So for the trigger, let me go to the Apex trigger and give the trigger name and choose the object. It's pretty slow. Okay, now let me go and pick the contact object. So we have the name for the trigger and the object for the trigger. Let me hit submit. So our triggers framework is ready. And this trigger is not before trigger. This is after insert, after trigger, which should happen after insert, after delete, after undelete, after update. So 4 contexts: insert, delete, undelete, and update. Let me introduce the trigger context also. Trigger that is insert, or trigger that is delete, or trigger that is undelete, trigger that is update, and trigger type is after. So if any of this condition is met, this trigger should fire. So for this trigger, let me write a trigger context, trigger handler class. Trigger handler class is simply nothing but a Apex class that is called in the trigger Apex trigger class. So let me give a name, associated contact count handler. You can give any name. I'm just looking for the meaningful name. Okay, so let me introduce a method, public static void, and the method name is count contacts, list of contact, which is going to capture the list of records. That is something we're going to pass from the Apex trigger. Let's say this is a new list of contacts. Let me introduce another collection variable for the contact object, which will cover all contacts. Here, in this situation, we need 2 set of records. One is new list of contacts, and the other one is old list of contacts. Because we have different scenarios, different contexts. Sometimes it is delete, sometimes it is undelete, sometimes it's update, sometimes it's insert. So in that case, we need both of these records. So now, let me go back to the trigger. I'm calling the trigger context trigger handler class here. And what I'm passing is trigger.new, this is the new record, trigger.core, this is existing record. So these two records, these two list of records, I'm passing to the trigger handler class, and we need to perform the operation here in this class now. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to introduce the collection variable, which is for ID. I'm going to collect IDs of those related records from the new list of records and the old list of records. So here I'm going to introduce a try catch so that I can catch any error that is popping up. Exception E, say system bug get message. If any error message occurs, it will capture the error message. E dot get. It's a method already existing in Salesforce Apex. Now Salesforce Apex has this method. I already wrote that. I just copied and pasted that code. Now here in the try, we need to write the code. So what I have to do is inside the try, for the first, what I'm going to do is let me just collect the records related to the contacts here. And for that, I'm going to use the new contacts list. If the new contacts list is not null, in that case, what it has to do is run a extended for loop on the contact object on contact list. I'm going to give the name. So it will run up to the new contacts. So what I'm going to do here is I'm reiterating this list of records and trying to collect all the related account IDs. If start account ID is not equals to null, that case what you have to do is IDs dot add contact list dot account ID. So we are collecting all the account IDs related to that list. So let me skip this if, and in another if block, what I'm going to do is let me test the null point. If it is not null, if the old list, now we did for new list, and I'm going to check for the old list. Same way, contact, old contact, that's just a name, and it will run, will iterate for the old list of contacts, old contact list. So we're in the right phase. So here also what you have to do is if contact has the account ID, not null, that means it has account ID, then in that case, the ID is going to add this account ID. So we're collecting all the account IDs, either that is new or that is old. So after coming out of this, both of these blocks, I'm going to introduce one list collection type for the account list and write a query. Select ID, name, total contacts. This is a custom field. So we need to give the exact name here. Let me go ahead and try to see what exact name I have given for the contacts. This is custom field. So you need to create that. It's not existing in your account as object. I just copied it. Let me paste it here. So I need this field and I need to query the records from the account object as well. Sorry, the contact object as well from contacts account. From both of the objects, I'm pulling out all the related account records, ID in IDs. So So only those records will be pulled which are already captured in this IDs. IDs has the old contact records and the new contacts records, which has the account ID. So again, let me introduce the extended for loop for account acc dot account list that we recently introduced here. This is the list of account records we recently introduced. Now in that list, what you're going to do is acc dot copy and paste this, because this is the place where we are trying to populate the records. acc dot contacts dot size. It has the updated list of accounts, list of contacts. So those contacts which are associated with accounts. Here, if account list dot is empty, if it's not empty, what you have to do is also update the account list. Since account list has already added this thing, the total contacts, and then account list is being updated here if that's not empty. We did all the operation, we did the null point checker, we wrote the account apex trigger handler class, and our trigger is also ready. So this is a little bit complicated one compared to any other else. Let's go to the developer console and run the testing. Click on the accounts. Let's say scenario 15. Go details tab. Do we have anything here? Check total number of contacts. We need to see that field since we just added that field in the account object. Account objects. Fine. It's not showing up. Still not showing. Let's just check that out. Do we really have that created or not? Okay. Let me refresh it. Go back again. Go to details. Sometimes it takes time to populate that. We have active, status, type, rated exceptions. Something is missing there. Respect. Let me create a new record, new account record, and see. Since this is a custom field, we just add it from this scenario 20, account 234, rating is says hot, and just hit save. To go and check the details. We don't have this serial number, billing. Like still we don't have it. Let me go ahead and check it. Fields and relationship, page layouts. Which layout is being used? Account marketing, account layout. Let me see if we have the fields here. Sometime we might not have the fields associated with that account, with that layout. Down and see account. Total contacts, we already have it. We already have the field. So why is not showing up? That's the issue. Account name, contemplate. We are using that. Let me go ahead and refresh it. Let me add one context. Scenario 20 contact. Hit save. Go to details, to accounts, and check yes. We already have the total contacts. So go ahead and go and delete the contact records. Here's the accounts. Scenario 20. Let me add one new contacts. We have one already populated there. Scenario 20 contact, say 201. Hit save. We have two records, two accounts, two contact records associated with accounts. Now the total number of contacts is 2. So this is how it works. It was a little bit complicated. You can practice it 2 times or 3 times and you can finally execute it. Hope you enjoyed the video. This was the last episode for the Apex Trigger class. I'll be updating the triggers resources. I'll be providing the different resources in the upcoming days. Thanks for watching and thank you for joining the class. Enjoy your class. Thank you.